So now I would like to go to our uh, trusted friend, Mr. Conan Busange from Uganda. Kunan, thank you again. What times, and also I'm a professor. You know that, like I have many students, many colleagues from Africa, and I met a lot of people through global conference from different parts of the world, including Africa. So whenever I do talk with my African friends, there is a saying. That's what I was told by them, that in Africa, not maybe not everywhere, but in many places in Africa, when you see something online, the first reaction is it might be fake, it might not be real. Is it something true? Can you share your experience with us, Quran, please?
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for everybody who has spent time to be on this session tonight. This is a very, very, very vital session. And you may never see its relevance and value until you get into a track where you are scammed. Then probably you will see the real essence of this. And I liked what John was saying. And one of the things he said that was very great was take your time and be able, don't rush it. Because at times when they rush, you're going to make a mistake. But getting to your question, one of the things in Africa, you'll understand that there is, not everybody is up speed on using online. And when knowing that very well, a lot of parts of Africa have great access to internet. Now, obviously, you would understand why people have a bit of reservations to really just appreciate everything that is online. Why? Because the smart guys who manage to get on internet first, some of them actually manage to use that platform to hoodwink and run scams to cheat most of the people that were like fresh and getting on the internet and using it. But then the reality is that it is now, obviously, things are changing. A great percentage of Africans are actually on internet, are using internet, and they do not really get scared of or looking at everything online as a scam. But that doesn't take away the fact that if you look at the young people that are cropping up over time and traveling now all over the world, most of them are just for a few years before they get to travel, they're using internet for the very first time. They're getting online for the very first time, a great percentage. And it goes without saying, obviously, with that, they tend to make mistakes. Even the ones you think are smart online, they tend also to make mistakes because of obviously there are a number of scams all over, not only in Africa, all over the world. Scams are not only in Africa. And people get to take advantage of people's being fresh and virgins on using internet as an advantage to really rob them. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Conan. So, like from a participant's perspective, so somebody like they want to attend a conference in Canada or in the US, and so like where they start from. Yes, we are actually trying our best to protect our delegates, as you said, not only in Africa, in other countries as well. So, how they should start, like how they want to make sure, because you got to protect yourself as well, right? I mean, it's not like, I mean, it is a shared responsibility. So, like as an organization, as a conference organizer, we have responsibility. Our embassy in different countries, they do have some responsibility, and including the delegates, himself or herself, they have some responsibility as well. How do they, verify? How do they do their due diligence before paying money to somebody that, okay, so I'm going to a real conference? What would be your suggestion?
Okay. Obviously, let me first take you to the bit of where we get a number of people making great mistakes. Even the people you think are even schooled and they understand the things they should be doing on the internet, at times also they get caught up in the same way. There are people who receive various invitations from across the world to attend conferences, especially people who are into business, people who are into academia, and a number of people who really want to improve on their skills, but also exposure on a number of things. So a number of them actually get to the internet, find these conferences, or a number of them are invited to these conferences. But not every invitation that comes before you is a legit conference. Not every invitation that you receive is an authentic conference. So a number of people actually get caught up in that way, but I would think the best thing they need to do now, and it's good that you as a Global Conference Alliance, you are now coming out and you're speaking to now people across the world about these conferences. Not all conference organizers actually come up to speak about these things. But I'll tell you one of the things one would do, would be able to, like, for instance, if I really wanted to travel, like what I did, to be able to check the authenticity, first of all, of the organization that is preparing the conference. I need to know how legit is this organization. But secondly, the other thing is looking at the people who are organizing the conference. Who are they in the first place? If you say you are a professor at a given university, can I double check with that university to confirm if a professor at that university? If some of the organizers, and by the way, we are lucky that in some countries like Canada, they take things like fraud seriously. And thank God for that. But there are countries where fraud is okay and it's normal. Even if there are laws, the laws don't really seem to work. So if you're in an organized setting, in an organization in Canada, it is very rare for you to be working for a serious organization as the university or an institution, or if you work in the government of Canada and you're one of the organizers and your name is on a fake conference and you've not noticed that. So a number of people actually get to check on that and they use that to verify if indeed they're talking to legit people. The other day when I was having a chat with you when I was in Canada, I was telling you, having conferences set up at universities is also another great way to verify the authenticity of the conferences that most people are going to be attending. If I'm just scouting out for conferences all over the world, or maybe if I'm checking out for conferences in Canada, I would be impressed to find a conference that is being organized by a legitimate organization, a registered organization. I would trust it. A registered institution, I would trust it. And that is one way I would think, okay, maybe this organization is legitimate. There are a number of things actually you had elaborated when you are starting this presentation earlier on. You talked about people using, what kind of emails are they using? What kind of sites are they using? Or what, if you go to their website, what kind of, if you check their website, what kind of, how did they build their website in the first place? You talked about things like simple spelling mistakes. If you're going to be legitimate, you cannot have spelling mistakes in your documents that you are releasing. And obviously you should be able to have established phone numbers, established emails, established portals, websites, where someone can easily go and check and verify the information. If you mention, and John talked about this, if you mention that you are working or you are arranging a conference or you're one of the organizers of a conference or you have been at a given conference and I can see on the website, I can track back, look at the social media accounts, like check on Twitter, check on Facebook, check on LinkedIn, or whatever social media platforms I can check on, I should be able to find legitimate people, authentic people that I can base on to think that these guys, by the time they are part of this must be legitimate. So those are things people may be using. I'll give you an example. I want to speak from my own personal experience. Some of the things I'll easily check on if I'm looking for a conference. And one of the things you mentioned, and those are very, very important checking points, and the things John raised, those are very good pinpointers to a conference that is legitimate. But the question is, do you think everybody that is coming for a conference from any part of the world, don't focus on only Africa, knows that is how I'm supposed to check for a legitimate conference? They don't. So for people who organize conferences, it is very important that actually we get to even give pointers to people somehow on our social media platforms. That is how you're going to tell the legit people from those who are not legit. But if we think people know, not all of them actually know what to say, or what to check out for. And that's very, very important. That's how people get caught up in legitimate conferences. Now we've taken it a step further. You're talking about me working with the Global Conference Alliance as Japan and Africa. Actually, one of the other things we do now is that people always prefer to see their own people they know organizing these conferences. If I'm coming from maybe India, I need to see someone who is authentic in India, maybe as part of the people who are partners of this organization. So that helps that when they get to look at them and say, oh, by the time these guys are partners to those people or a given company, they must be legitimate. If it is Africa, I need to see responsible Africans as partners of some of these organizers of conferences around the world. If it is the conferences in Africa and someone is coming from Canada, I need to see Canadian as partners probably. Those are the other things that actually build confidence for people who are applying to go for any conference around the world. Because a number of times, by the way, if you did the survey, you'll be surprised. The number of people who are duped every year in fake conferences. So I'm glad that you're actually stepping up and you can tell people what to do, what to check out for, to really not lose their money, because people lose millions of shillings. So yeah, now you're talking about not only shillings, I'm talking shillings because I'm in Uganda. They lose thousands of dollars every other year in fake conferences. And this goes on and on and on. It's not a one-two scattered issues, cases, but several people get caught up in that way. And so our responsibility to really at times get to save them and show them the way.
Thank you, Conan. So some comment. So it's a global problem, and since I work with the authorities in Africa, so I was actually shared by this information by one of the government organizations. I'm not going to mention the name. But they said that last year, fake invitation letter. A scam actually cost over $100 million all over Africa. So this is a big number we are talking. Like $100 million is not a joke. They lost over $100 million because they applied for a fake conference. They suffered financially. So I agree to you. And talking about the partnership, so as Africa is a big continent. We have divided Africa into 6 parts. So first we are going to Ghana. Maybe next time we'll go to your country. So we are working with the local partners like local chamber of commerce. Already we have a number of MOUs signed with local universities as well. So our idea is to go there, hosting an information session at the chamber, at the university, and inviting Canadian embassy people there. So I think it shows a strong credibility that we guys are there, as you say, that people like to see, like global conference team, Canadian team go there and present ourselves that we are real, we are the scammers, and we also have our agents in some countries as well. We are looking for more agents. So I think this might will help us. What do you think, Conan?
Yeah, yes, you're right. The way you put it, you're right. Actually, in Africa, the scams are abnormal because obviously what happens is that with the rise of fraud is being driven by digitalization of financial services. In the past, it would be very rare to actually even make payments to some of these conferences. You'll have to go through the banks. Now, by digitalizing our services, you just go on your phone and easily withdraw your money and make a payment. In the past, maybe it would be different. And now the more we get to digitalize our financial services, unfortunately, some of these platforms are not well protected from scams. A number of people get caught up in that way. And the more you create partners, the more people have now access to rely on them across Africa and even across the world. This will save people from the scams. And you rightly put it, a number of people have lost millions of dollars as individuals, as companies, as organizations in some of these scams. And it is very, very unfortunate. I've seen schools in Africa where they prepare, like you find like 500, 600 school children or students are preparing to travel for a conference. And all of a sudden they pay money to an organization that just disappears with their money. This can be that bad. This happens in several schools in Africa. And at the end of the day, your money is paid. You can't get recovered very easily. You might report, but the expectations are very, very, very high to get. I mean, if you organize a conference or people you're taking them abroad, you're going to be in trouble. And if you look at countries where we have the greatest number of scams, are the countries that have greatly digitalized themselves. You look at cases of South Africa, look at cases of other countries in West Africa, Egypt also in North Africa, looking at cases like Nigeria, where you are going in West Africa, and Kenya in East Africa. And I'm glad you'll be coming to East Africa very soon. Those are countries where we've had the greatest number of fraudsters or fraud cases arising, because some of these countries went far ahead in digitalizing their transactions. No wonder even the criminality is high in those areas. And I'm linking this to where you asked that in Africa, people are getting scammed every other time, and there is a great number of people. And you talked about people how they do not want to get online and make transactions online just because they're scared of that. True. The countries that went ahead of Africa, the case of South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, Egypt, that were far ahead in digitalization, they've got the highest number of scams. So no wonder, the faster, the better we get to digitalize this education. So the financial services, some of them that are not well protected, the more the fraudsters take advantage of those people and get to cheat them. So since you're coming, now you know where your targets are and where you need to help people. The southern part of Africa, the Western Bloc, because when you look at the African continent, countries like Nigeria have developed very fast in terms of digitalizing their operations. Parts of Egypt, and obviously, when you come to East African part of the continent, that is Kenya, Uganda, now we're taking a massive move to digitalizing our financial services. You're going to find several other cases of that. Actually, when you arrive, when you go for those conferences, you'll be surprised by the cases of people that will share stories. Me talking to you, I was also at one time scammed. Yes, when I was traveling. It's not that you're going to be smart to not be scammed. At times they get to beat you at your game. And it happens that if the more we get to sensitize our people, with they all moving to these conferences and coming to Africa and some of these conferences, maybe to put a new line to help people understand this better. And the creating of partners and people they can work with, you can work with to make sure people travel safe. It's going to be a big plus for the growing of conferences and networking in the entire world when it comes to conferences. Because conferences are about we learning from one another and having an opportunity for people to share knowledge. And that's the essence of all conferences we do all over Africa and all over the world. So the more you make that safer, the better for business growth and transactions.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for very helpful. So I'm going to go back to John. So John, so this talk show is part of our global awareness, not just Africa, but also like from other countries as well. So as a legal professional, and also you are a university professor as well, teaching law courses. So like an individual or even an organization looking for a conference in Canada, how do they verify if they are going to a real conference? I asked you a similar question, but I request you to give us a little bit summary, because some people they joined later, so maybe repeat it, please.
For first and foremost, verify your sources independently. People can give you a link to anything, can spoof any web page. Lawyers have been ripped off because they get an email from a law firm and they look at the law firm's web page and everything looks legitimate. And so you're looking for that independent way of verifying it. And in the chat, I've put links to the Law Society of British Columbia website where you can find me. Like you can look me up, type in my last name. I have a nephew who used to practice law in DC, so Brian O'Fee is my nephew, but it's me. I've got a son graduating from law school, so pretty soon you'll see another O'Fee there, but you'll find me. And so you can verify who I am and that I, legitimately a licensed and insured lawyer in British Columbia. That's easy to do. You can verify, if you just Google Global Conference Alliance Canada, that's got to be the first hit on Google. So you'll see it's way up at the top. It's got an actual web page, a Canadian, .ca web page. You can see that it's a legitimate, or you can call. Take your time. If you went to the Better Business Bureau, you guys are registered there. There's ways to verify that who I'm dealing with is legitimate. There's ways to verify that I am who I say. And I do get people emailing me, is this real? And I say, I understand why you're concerned. I mean, people getting ripped off all the time, and I am not offended by that. That they want to verify that, I'm actually dealing with a real person. This is in fact legitimate. I usually forward those on to you guys so you can verify that in fact they've registered with you and that they're not getting ripped off. I'm happy to pass those on for if people were to reach out. Because there are ways, and again, anytime they want you to pay in some unconventional way, like with a gift card or something like that, that's your sure sign of the scam. Anytime, again, when the time pressure, when the crunch is put on, gotta move, gotta go, gotta make it, that's always a big red flag to say that would say, oh, hold on, why are you pushing now? Why do you want me to go so fast now? And that's a real sign that there's a problem. So you see these patterns repeat themselves. But I would say, number one, don't be rushed. Number two, verify who you're dealing with. And certainly, Global Conference has no fear of people doing that. That you should verify that who you're dealing with. We encourage anybody. There are other conference companies. They're legitimate. We're not here to run down anybody else, obviously. But verify them too. Like, verify who you're dealing with. And don't, what a terrible thing for you to invest all this time and effort. You booked your ticket, you booked your hotel, you've got all these plans, and the whole thing just blows up. That would be an awful thing. I'd hate to see that happen to somebody because, they were pressured, they moved too quickly, they didn't verify who they were dealing with, and they ended up getting scammed.
Thank you, John. Agreed, which is ironic, like you said, but true. Thank you very much, John.
And also, I think it reflects negatively on Global Conference, even though they've done nothing wrong. It just creates that negative association with going to conferences generally. You can't trust anybody, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Also, we have journals like the academics like who wants to present their paper. Again, this is another way. A real conference should have a real journal. Right. So there is another way you should verify the authenticity of a conference. Last question, Conan, any last words for people looking for a conference in Canada or the US? Any suggestion for them?
My suggestions for people who are traveling or who want to go for conferences, and I want to pick a line from what John said. Take your time. Do not be rushed.
Yeah.
Take your time. All scammers always want to rush you through the process. And you also refer to it. When you see people rushing you through the process, be very worried. And also the other thing, if it is too good to believe, be very worried. If there is anything that is, or you see something that is so good to believe, don't get excited to pay your money. Hold it, take time, and check. But also the other thing, obviously, is very, very, very important, is that no matter, even if it is not about Global Conference Alliance and you're trying to look for a conference anywhere around the world and you're listening to us today, it is very, very, very important that you take your time and research. And even if you just run a Google search, now today, go run a Google search about Global Conference Alliance and add the word scam. You are not going to find anyone complaining about being scammed. Okay? I think John alluded to that too. So if a conference has been scamming people will go online obviously and complain, right? And even if someone wrongly complained about you, you'd want to see the response that is given by the organizers or the leaders of that conference. Because everyone can accuse you wrongly. Stuff happens, misunderstandings. But the most important thing is that even when someone accuses you, see them, for an organization that is legit, you see them laboring to explain, and you'll be able to see and read between lines and make sense of what they're trying to say. But it is very important, and it is also very important to keep a very credible record, and a record you've kept as Global Alliance conferences. And it's very important that we work towards that for everyone trying to travel. Check the credibility of the organization that is actually trying to convince you for the conference. Because a number of times people rush you through things, then you quickly pay your money. Especially they will give you abnormal discounts. Also, the other thing that for me that gave me a real step on is check the venue. The venue is very, very important. And I think, on personal, I relate to that too. The venue is very, very important. If you stay at a hotel, I'm going to call the hotel. And if the hotel is not aware of the conference on that given day, and they didn't even book in, then how can we have a conference at that place? If it is a university, probably the university may not verify. But if I find a conference on a university website, and then you tell me it wasn't legit, I'd wonder what kind of university this is that gets to post a conference that is not legitimate. I'd really be shocked. So that's a great safe zone for you if you're checking for a conference to know that you're actually going for the right point. But also, allow me go back to one best rule. Scammers are not smart enough. Be patient. They always want to rush you through processes, and they can't explain themselves when you put them on spot. So every time you have a conference, anytime you're not sure, pick what John said. Slow down, take your time. A scammer never allows to take time. A scammer becomes impatient. You will have several emails, several text messages, several calls. But when you slow down, that irritates them. So every time you're not sure, slow down. They get irritated, cancel the transaction. Those are my words.
No, Conan, you're right. When they want you to hit the gas or hit the accelerator, hit the brake. That's really good advice. And I forgot about, I know a lot of the conferences that are held in Vancouver at the UBC conference at University of British Columbia, which is, a top 50 ranked university in the world. You could verify that would be booked, I would presume, through the UBC Conference Center downtown now. So that would be another way of verifying. I'd forgotten about that.
True. Exactly. And I've seen several conferences at that same university. And they're really legit conferences. Yeah.
Thank you. Very helpful. I think not only for global conference, but also for our audience. It's been a very helpful discussion. Thank you, guys. Next information session that will be facilitated by Nafis and Stephen. But before that, I would like to announce one thing, which is we recently we ran a selfie photo contest. So it was open for all people from all over the world. Actually, they had the opportunity to take selfie, and also they posted it on our social media. And a lot of people actually, participated. A huge responses from all over the globe, and it was very difficult for us to announce the winner. We looked into some factors: how many people actually liked their post, how many people viewed their post, the engagement, and after that, so we have our owner, which is Joseph Omana, who I requested him to present here. So Joseph, maybe you say a few words. Your maximum time is 1 minute. Can you please come and share your experience and how you feel about becoming the winner of this selfie contest? Maybe somebody can bring Joseph on the stage, please.
Yes, there you go.
Yes, hello.
Yes, Joseph, we can hear you.
Yes, I'm gonna fine. In this time, please, I'm in the job. I can be able now to explain that word in French, if it will be possible.
Yes, go ahead with French. We understand French as well. You go with Boca, you translate it into English. Go, French is okay.
Okay. So, je voulais dire, premièrement, je suis ravi d'être parmi vous et je suis ravi d'être sélectionné pour le challenge of selfie. Je pourrais dire juste que Dieu merci pour tout et que Dieu vous bénisse tous. À part ça, je voulais aussi exprimer ma joie envers vous, que je suis ravi de tout. Merci beaucoup pour tout ce que vous avez fait aussi pour moi. Bon, pour continuer à parler de mon expérience, au moins, je pourrais dire que sur mon parcours, j'ai eu tendance toujours à être éveillé ou soit concentré sur les trucs de la technologie, l'informatique. Et c'est ce qui m'a poussé au moins lorsque j'étais sélectionné sur les conférences à venir, j'ai voulu vraiment participer sur les trucs de la technologie. Sur mon parcours, j'ai eu à développer certains trucs d'application et il y a beaucoup de choses que j'ai eu à participer, d'autres conférences aussi au Congo et au Rwanda aussi, sur la technologie, sur l'intelligence artificielle. Et pour être bref, j'aimerais au moins parler et ou soit te montrer d'autres trucs que j'ai comme expérience lorsque je serai parmi vous et avoir aussi d'autres expériences et d'autres contacts avec d'autres experts en technologie et pour apprendre encore et encore. C'est ça.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. First of all, say thank you, everybody. Is very honored and very happy to be selected as the winner. And may God bless you. May God bless Global Conference Alliance. Already purchased a conference, a technology conference, and he will be very happy to travel here to attend this conference as well. This is what he said.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you again. But Stephen, thank you. John and Conan and everyone. Thank you. So we are done here with the talk show. Now the ball is on Nafisa and Stephen's court. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.